Brad in Virginia?
Yes, let's talk with Brad.
Let's do it. Brad, you're having a little bit of trouble just being a good ally. What's going on?
Okay, so I know, first off, I'm on the autism spectrum. And through some group therapy sort of thing, I know someone else who is also on the autism spectrum. It may become relevant for me to share that this person is also an adult, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not dealing with a small child, despite what it may appear. They're very, very anti-LGBT community. And they have given me 5 reasons why, for example, they don't think gay marriage should be allowed. If you want me to, I can share with you their really piss-poor 5 reasons. But ultimately, they boil down to piss-poor reasons.
Mm-hmm. Well, and when we're talking about something so foundational, you have to feel as if new information or a different way of hearing it explained is not necessarily the key. This sounds like a pretty entrenched belief, and coming at it with just the right turn of phrase or metaphor or argument doesn't sound quite like the solution you're looking for. Does that kind of resonate with you?
Yes. Like I said, my friend, who I will call C, is a bit of a religious zealot.
Mm-hmm.
Except just from watching atheist programs, I know way more about what is actually in the Bible than he does.
So often the case that people who understand the Bible are atheists.
But ultimately his reasons boil down to, it's gross, it's icky, and my response is, okay. I honestly would agree. I have no interest in engaging in anal sex, but nobody else wants to, and no one's going to force me, so it doesn't matter to me that other people want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand why it matters to him that other people want to.
Yeah, it sounds to me like the thing that's ultimately going to offer him a new point of view is going to be just the opportunity to actually meet somebody, to find a little bit of empathy for somebody in these communities. So my question becomes, how do you survive, Brad? Like, what are you doing to take care of yourself? And, you know, are you choosing to maintain this relationship? Are you obligated to maintain this relationship? And what do you want to do, and what can you do to stay sane?
Well, yeah, you're not the only person who has more or less suggested I cut ties with this person. In the group therapy thing, which is no longer taking place because of COVID, sure. I was basically the first person to reach out to him, and so I was basically his contact to the rest of the group and whatever, and so I was under a bit of an obligation. I just don't want to give up hope. And that he can possibly be led out right. I mean, for example, I was able to convince him that Noah's Ark did not actually happen. There's evidence that we can point to that did not happen. I can thank Aaron Raw for his playlist for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, one thing to keep in mind here, Brad, is first of all, congratulations on making it that far, because that by itself is a huge thing. And it possibly might be beneficial in having other conversations with this person to reference it. Hey, remember when you thought this thing? And then I was able to show you how it wasn't true. Well, maybe there are other areas where you need a little bit more information, and I'm happy to give that to you. But another thing to keep in mind is something we tell people who are trying to deconvert a friend or a family member or somebody. And that's, maybe you're just not the person to give them it the way they need to hear it. They might need to hear it, but not from you. And that's okay, right? If you are the first person to bring these concepts to them and they are hearing it for the first time, they might not accept it from you, but that might have opened the door so that the second or third or fourth person that they talk to about this, then makes that inroad and gets them to change their mind about this. So your contributions to this conversation with this friend of yours are valid and useful. And thank you for being an ally in that way. But also, I don't want you to feel like you have to change their mind or else they're never going to, right? You could be making a very crucial first step in that direction with them. And then you have every right to say, okay, I'm done now, someone else take over. And if they change their mind in the future, it is partially because they had those conversations with you in the present.
Yeah. The anti-gay marriage thing is... I'm honestly worried about them because the anti-gay... Part of their, what I consider piss poor reasons for being anti-gay marriage is that the gay people have stolen the rainbow and I can't go out wearing a T-shirt with a rainbow on it. And my response is, I don't think anyone's going to stop you.
Yeah. No one's going to ask to see your gay ID. You don't have to be licensed to wear a rainbow. Brad, I guess I would say with all of this that your options are kind of limited. And I really hope that I'm encouraging you to take care of yourself and your own sanity.
Yeah.
You mentioned you didn't want to give up hope. And I appreciate that. And I guess I would remind you that hope is an emotion and you're definitely entitled to it. It doesn't necessarily change your actions. Your actions might be smartly to back off and let this go, but that doesn't mean that emotionally you have to give up hope. You're still allowed to hold on to those feelings.
Yeah, it's just I wasn't always such an ally to the LGBT community. I never came at it from a religious standpoint, being a bigot, but I was just, if I may use a vulgar term, I was a fag basher. I want to try to undo my past mistakes by trying to help him.
Yeah, that's very insightful for you to know about yourself. I think a lot of us are motivated by our past and making amends. I know for me, I'm an atheist activist partially because I was such a terrible Christian when I was younger. And part of my motivation in doing what I'm doing is also to kind of, quote unquote, make amends or to do penance in a way for a previous lifestyle that could have really hurt people and probably did. But it's useful to know that about yourself, but I would be careful that you give yourself a little bit of grace here, a little bit of self-acceptance. Who you were back then is not who you are now. And saving this one friend won't undo anything, but it's also not necessarily, so it's not the only option. It's not the only chance you have to make a difference in a positive way. So you might be focused very much on this one person, on this one issue. Maybe your efforts, your energy might be better spent on somebody else. And because you're focused on this one person who isn't budging, you're not able to go and move in a new direction and find another way to positively help people.
And I just want to say finally that there's a lot of love in the chat for you right now.
Yeah.
The fact that you're able to recognize your past mistakes, the fact that you have grown as a person, and that you desire for the people around you to grow as well. Those are all beautiful traits. And I think that you have a lot to be proud of, even if this is not a winnable battle for you. And that doesn't mean anything about your efforts, your genuineness, your kindness, your sincerity.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Also,
thank you for
I don't know if you checked Discord, but this show is hella queer and I like it.
I do too.
I appreciate that.
I was not expecting this level of queerness, and wow, awesome. I
love
need
it.
to go for my own mental health.
Hey, well, we appreciate you giving us a call tonight. You have a great time.
Oh, That's awesome. I want that to be the tagline now.